Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today's episode is going to be about what I've got, what I've been up to and what I'm planning to do, but I'm going to talk to you about how that all fits in with what I'm calling beating the winter blues, because I know for those of us in the northern hemisphere right now, we've reached that point where we've just kind of had enough and it's getting colder, not warmer, although the warmer bit's coming. And I've been doing some reading about it, and I know last time I mentioned talking about putting colour in your wardrobe, so I've been thinking about how to put this together. So today's episode is me helping you to think first of all about building a wardrobe for the winter that you love, and I'll explain more in a minute, and then we'll go on to colour in a future episode. So let's get started. So let me explain how this all started. So I began by thinking about how was I going to put together the using more colour and sewing with more colour in your wardrobe. And then I sort of fell down a little bit of a wormhole of thinking. And then I read an article on The Stylist, which I'll post below. It wasn't a particularly deep article, but it was interesting, called Creating Your Warmdrobe. I'll put the word in here, it makes more sense. So literally a wardrobe for for when you need to be warm. And so I read that, and then I read a different article about why is it that in the UK we get more seasonal affective disorder than countries like Norway, where parts of Norway don't see the sun for like a month or something. So I will post this article down below as well. And it's what are we doing differently to what some of the Scandinavian countries are doing that means they somehow don't seem to get so affected by the lack of light as we do. And it was a really interesting article, and I thought, how could that apply to our sewing? And that's when my ideas started pinging off. And also it's going to feed into the February collab that I'm doing with Jess about creating this sort of working from home wardrobe as well. So as we come towards the end of January, I'm going to start talking about it, and then as we go into February, it's all going to fit together, and it's very exciting. So let me explain the crux of what it was saying in both articles. So the Creating the Warmdrobe was knowing how to build up those layers and build up the outfits and have the go-to parts that mean you've got this part of your body warm and your midriff warm, and what kind of clothing is good for that. So that's what the Stylist magazine was talking about, and obviously they were recommending things to shop, but it's always good to have a look. And then the deeper article, which was either the Independent or the Guardian, I will put it below, was saying that one of the things that we as a nation we didn't fully get when the Hige, and I'm sorry if I've said it wrong, I'll put the word up here, trend came about from the Scandinavian countries, was it's all well and good buying the cosy blankets, buying the candles and trying to hide, but if we don't fully understand the mindset of it, we're not sort of winning at it. And one of the things they explained is that perhaps the reason why we struggle more than maybe some of the Scandinavian countries as a nation is we almost feel like, and I'll be really interested what you think about this, is that either winter's an inconvenience or it's something to get through, to get to the good bit, if you see what I mean, rather than embracing the phase that we're in. And this does go back to that book I was talking about before about wintering and that being a season to be in. And so it made me think about what I've been sewing lately. And if you haven't seen my latest review, which I did about, I don't know, it was at the beginning of January, I think, wasn't it? Reviewing how I was doing with my autumn winter wardrobe sewing, what I was wearing, and am I being realistic? I thought, I've started on this journey. I've started on a journey of making clothes that I really want to wear at home. And then when I was planning out the February collaboration that I'm doing with Jess, I was looking and planning at my fabrics, and I'd got all my sort of wintry fabrics out. So like the cable knits, the brushed fleece jerseys and all those fabrics like that, and I was really enjoying thinking about how to put them together, but also enjoying the excitement of thinking about wearing them. Now I know in the summer that's so much easier for us as sewists because we see the gorgeous summer fabric, we can't make them to wear into the dress to wear in the sunshine, or even at this time of year we might be planning what to sew ready for a holiday. I know some people are doing that, and the lovely Ruan's doing that right now. And so I put a poll out asking people when do they struggle most with their losing their sewing mojo, and the clearest time when people don't was the summer, and other people either said definitely the winter or unpredictable. So then I started thinking a bit more, and I was thinking about what I'm making myself. So I know you've seen, if you've watched my other episodes, some of these outfits are the ones where I've made like the matching jogger set, the snuggly jumpers that are bright, kind of like the jumper dresses, and I was thinking about what else I was sewing, and I realised that what I've been doing is creating a wardrobe that I'm excited to wear at home on these cold days. And then I realised that the ones I haven't done yet, I'm really excited to sew because I want to make them before the weather goes and I can't wear them anymore. And I know that when I talked originally about my autumn winter wardrobe sewing, some people were saying, oh, I get a bit like meh in the winter with what I sew. I just sew jumpers, or I just wear jumper and jeans. So my challenge to you, before we even start on adding colour, is, are you sewing things that you really want to wear at this time of year that actually you'll be disappointed if you don't use that fabric right now and get the opportunity to wear it before the weather changes? Because if we start to make an exciting winter wardrobe, then winter becomes a season of excitement in itself. And if we're excited to enjoy having this snuggled up round us and a matching infinity scarf and a really snuggly softness that we can't wear in the summer because it's too hot or we get too sweaty, then suddenly we're embracing the moment that we're in rather than always thinking ahead to get out of it. Now, if this is a bit deep for you, that's okay, because there's other normal sewing content coming soon. But I wanted to share with you where I was at in terms of how I'm really framing and thinking about my sewing as I move forward. So it's also affected the choices of when I'm looking at fabric and buying fabric. So Felicity Fabrics had I think it was a Blue Monday sale with 25% off everything. Well, how could I resist? But again, what I did was bought fabrics that I would want to use right now to sew now that I was excited about. So let me show you, because it's so easy otherwise to fall in the trap of buying the summery ones, the floaty ones, and then we're just waiting for this to go. And I hadn't really bought till this year many sort of wintry fabrics, as I would call them. So my call to you, I know I've already said please start, you know, if you've got an overlocker using it, start being brave with jersey. Now my next challenge is start looking for those fabrics, maybe in the summer, that are on sale because they're wintry fabrics that you can buy ahead to sew, because they're the ones that will be on sale as we get to spring and into summer. So from Felicity Fabrics, I actually bought all like ends of rolls or remnants, and this in itself excites me, so I'm just getting them out. So the offer was amazing because obviously where I was buying end of roll and remnants, they were already on offer, and then with the discount I got all of this for £12. I can't believe it. So I'm really happy there. So I bought some more cuffing because cuffing is endlessly useful. But look at this ponte that I got hold of. It's glittery. And it's got a nice, look at that stretch to that. On the inside the glitter's like that, and on the outside it's like, but that is something exciting to want to wear at this time of year. Now I think that shiny glittery, hence the sequin gelly, is not just for the winter, for Christmas or parties. But this, I can't wait. I think I might just make like a little structured jacket, because just adding that, I know it's black, which is quite unusual for me, but adding that to an outfit for the winter just means, just for at home, something that, you know, I spent £12 on this. It doesn't need to be saved for best. Just means I have something exciting to wear. And then I got these 3 sweatshirting fabrics, and although none of them would be big enough on their own to make into something, they're all fleece backed. So that excitement of something soft against your skin, just think of that infinity scarf. And I was thinking like these 2 colours would work beautifully together to do like a colour block one. So the Mile End does that brilliantly. There's a new free pattern now which I'll put in here, which has got colour blocks in, but you can easily create a yoke in anything for a bit of colour blocking. I'll link below my video I did, which was all about details and it was about blouses and ruffle collars, but in there I cut a like a yoke in the front. You can do it with a pattern. You've just got to remember to add seam allowance onto each part. So you could easily take any jumper pattern and colour block it together, or do the sleeves in one colour and the body in another, and suddenly 2 remnants become a great snuggly jumper that you want to wear. And then I've got this red one as well. It's a slightly different fabric, but again it's fleece backed, so this would make a lovely pair of joggers. And if you've got then like a bright, snuggly, comfy pair of joggers to wear on one of these grey cold days with like a sparkly top, and you're just chilling out at home wearing things that actually make you feel good, you'll be able to enjoy the experience rather than trying to get through it to the weather with the clothes that you want to get out and wear. So you may already be doing that, and I'd love to hear your tips and ideas if you are, but if you're not, this is me sharing something with you. So that's those. And then I grabbed, bear with, this pink ribbing, and it's a thick ribbing, so I'm just going to unroll it for you. So it's like this, and it's got a really good amount of stretch, just the 2x2 stretch from New Craft House. I don't often buy from them, but their delivery's very good. And I thought, how amazing would this be as a jumper dress? Because again, wearing it at home, hanging around the house with this on, just feeling like actually I might do like either a detachable infinity scarf or do like a Freya type neck like this, and it will bring joy on those days. So just thinking those things through, I think now you may well have things hiding in your stash that you've forgotten about. Have a search. And the one thing I want to show you, which I can't see right now, I can see it, hang on, is this. So this is actually a blanket from Ikea. It's like a chenille. It's got all of these stripes. It's incredibly soft. And I've realised that just putting this on as a jumper dress or a long line cardigan, it was £14 for all of this. I don't know what size it is. I expect it says on here, does it? 130 by 170 centimetres. So that's perfect, isn't it? Because I can easily get a cardigan or a jumper dress out of this, and that in itself, the joy it will bring. So it doesn't even have to be fabric. You could spot, if you haven't seen Liz's lovely rainbow quilted coat that was actually a bedspread from Dunelm. This is a throw from Ikea. So don't be limited by buying fabrics. Look at duvets. I think I saw Sam of So Let's Sparkle with Sam got hold of like a big sort of teddy bear fleece duvet. Lots of sales at the moment. So don't be limited by just buying fabric. Look for other places. Look at things you've already got that you could reuse. So that's where I'm at with this. So what have I been up to next week is this week just gone. I'm going to go and get all of those things and then come back, because I've realised I'm losing the light as well. So I will come back shortly with what I have been creating. See you in a minute. Hello everyone, so I'm back and we are in with my lovely red friend that I've tried to cover up there, but I'm back. I'm now in my Max made out of this quilted fabric from Pound Fabrics. I've got the red, which I made the Billy jumper dress in. I'll put a picture in here of me wearing this. I still feel like I'm right. So I am back and I'm going to show you some things I've created. I will put pictures in and then I'm going to tell you what I'm up to, and that'll be it. So I realised there was a little bit more I wanted to add about the sort of wintering and embracing the winter. One of the things that it said in the article was having things that can only happen in the winter, and they have like certain pastries that are released on certain weeks or certain months that only are available for that time period and not at all. And I loved that. And I think, you know, some of the challenges we have, the sewing challenges, that's a way to bring that excitement because it's only suitable for this time of year. And on that subject, Christine of Gemini Stitches has organised a pogo knit party, which will be for February. So if you haven't seen that, do head over to her channel, which I'll link below, or her Instagram page. She's got some fantastic prizes lined up. So the whole idea is that you sew a pogo knit over February and share it on Instagram on the leap year day. It's on the 29th. And as part of that, there's some vloggers, including myself, who are going to talk about what pogo knits we're going to wear, maybe give some hints and tips about making them. So if you've not made one before, neither have I. So this is going to be a great challenge for me too. So I showed you last week these trousers, which I forgot to put a picture of in, so I will put in today, which are the Pattern Emporium Walk Boldly trousers. And I didn't find I even needed to put elastic, look at all those threads inside, elastic in the waistband, and they've turned out really well. I really like them. They've got darts at the back, flat at the front, which is what I wanted. It is quite a wide leg, but I'm not concerned because it's something you could easily taper in. So since then I had a bit of a challenge because I had this lovely blue Ponte Roma that I bought in the sale on Minerva. Oh, threads poking out everywhere. But really frustratingly, when I laid the pattern on, because of how wide the legs are, I couldn't fit them out of this fabric, and I was like, oh, I really want to make them with this fabric. So I came up with a solution. I had some of the leftover green Ponte Roma, so I put that down the sides. So what I did was folded the edge of both pattern pieces to get it out of the blue, and then the folded bit I cut out of the green, making sure I did a seam allowance. So did everything else the same, so nice darts at the back, and I really like the way they've turned out. So a picture will appear here. And then I got from Legend Textiles, I think it's for £1.99 or £2.25 a metre, this Ponte Roma. Now it's not as soft as those, but it's got a nice feel, particularly on the inside, and I thought it was a great one to experiment because I wanted to put a pocket in. So I looked at the pocket options, which there are a good amount of in this pattern, including a welt pocket. Not ready for that yet, but I actually put a pocket on that you can't even see. Look at that, look, apart from the opening, which is there, you can't see. And because this fabric doesn't fray, I didn't even have to fold it over to create bulk. So there is an edge, which I find it's so hard to find here, but you can't even see it. And I stitched it with a zigzag because of the fact that it's stretched. So look, if you zoom in, there's a zigzag there, but you can't even tell. So this pair have pockets, which I'm delighted about. I did taper the leg a little to see what it would be like on those. Picture coming up in here. So I've got to wear them now and style them, so I'll put some pictures in of me wearing things with them, but I might have found a go-to trouser pattern. It's not going to be enough. And on that subject, I have now made the Onyx pants from the Closet Core crew. So if you're a member of Closet Core crew, they've released for this month the Onyx pants. They were a really nice sew, so each leg has 2 pieces at the front and 2 at the back, so that you can then stitch down this line to create like a feature, and you stitch it flat. Now I haven't stitched on these because these are my trial pair, and then you do the thing where you attach the elastic at the edge and then fold it down. And I haven't done that yet because when I've put them on, I'm finding the bottom part, because of the shape of my calf is making it sort of poke out. So I think I need to taper the leg in a bit. I'll put the picture in here and you can tell me what you think. But I do feel that they are a great go-to when you don't want a jean, but you want something like you don't want like a skinny fit jean or something, but you want something that's a bit slimmer fit, because obviously those walk boldly pants are very wide leg, but sometimes you want a bit of a slimmer fit. I did them in this blue because again this was £1.99 from Legend Textiles, and so if it went wrong or I didn't like it, I didn't feel like I'd wasted it, but I also knew I'd wear them at home if they were okay, because it's like a replacement for a jogger, isn't it? It's a smart version of a jogger. So I do like the pattern. I do need to, as I say, tweak around the calf area, but I think next to do, I'd like to do like a dark green or something. So I'm going to be on the lookout for some dark green, sort of forest green Ponte Roma to do a sort of a more polished pair. I have been reasonably busy because I've also made two more of a dress which I'll put in here. Now I made that a while ago and I really liked how it felt on me. I self-drafted it and so I wanted to make some more. So I had this amazing tiger fabric, and if anyone watches What Beck Sews, which I'm sure you do, she'd found this on Legend Textiles, and when I went there it was gone and I was like rats, but then I was buying the Ponte Roma the other week and it was back. So I've made two others. There's slight variations in them and I'd be really interested in the neckline on these. So the one that I put in just now is completely finished. I've worn it quite a few times. So this one is a fabric from Minerva and it's a much better quality than the blue one. Although I really like the dress, it's almost starting to fade a bit already. This has been washed and I love this. Look at that. It's got a nice bouncy weight to it as well. And I did a long sleeve and I haven't cut the neckline yet. So the picture that I'm going to put in will be with the neckline as it is. And I'd love to know what you think. It's quite a long length, so I might just about shorten the bottom frill a smidge. But it's a lovely feel to this fabric. And the way I make it, in case you haven't seen the previous one, is I use the back piece of the Westcliff dress for the front and back bodice. I cut the Westcliff sleeve but lengthen it, and then I just cut panels for this and I gather them and then attach them. So the first panel and then the second panel even longer. So the first panel is the longest one, it's that sort of length, so it comes to my knee, and then the second one is there, and then the third one. So it's completely self-drafted. Once you've done gathers and you've done skirts with it, you don't need a pattern for that. You can work that out. Gathering obviously is a bit of a mammoth task when you get to those last two layers, but it is worth it. And it also means you can control the amount of gather. So if you don't want so much, you can do less fabric there, and you can control the length, so it's lengths that suit you as well. Because although the Nomi pattern that lots of people have been sewing lately, I think it's from Sew Over, it looks lovely, it's not going to work without a lot of adjustments for me because I'm petite in height. And I noticed for a lot of people it's very long in the waist. I was watching, I can't remember the lady's name, I'm really sorry, from Devon Thread Tales, and she has brought it up once already and I knew that I would have to, and then it's super long, like all on the floor, which I mean I would have had to like take off like 6, 7, 8 possibly inches. So now I've got my own self-drafted pattern and I can easily adjust neckline and things, and I'll just like twin needle the edges. So I've done that one, and then this one I've done a different length sleeve. It's like a 3/4 length, and it's turned out slightly different length, which again you can adjust the lengths of each gather so that it looks different. So I think the two of them look very different. I am thinking about making a matching tie belt just because I think sometimes it's nice to have, and then maybe I can always just stitch those on so I don't lose it, because there's nothing worse than losing your tie belt. But I'm really happy with how it's turned out, and I can't wait to wear them to work and this, because they feel like secret pyjamas. There's nothing tight around my waist and they feel smart. It's easy to throw on like a nice orange necklace, but like look at these on there, look. That's perfect, isn't it? Black jacket over the top or so. This one, all kinds of, I've got like a grey jacket, like a it's not sparkly, but it's like it's like a boucle grey, would be great over the top of that. So really happy with how they've turned out. So what am I up to now? Let me just get something. So I am up to finishing, I've just got to finish the waistband, and the joggers are done to go with the jumper that I made, which is brilliant. So I've cut out a long line Marlowe cardigan from True Bias, and I'm pleased to say it hasn't massively frayed as I cut it. I think it would if you pulled at it, but I can easily overlock the edges. So I'm doing sleeveless to start with to see what I think, and then I can add a sleeve if I want. So that's very exciting, and I'll probably sew that tomorrow during the virtual social. So if when I say tomorrow, it's the day you're watching this, so I'll sew it on Sunday while you're seeing this at the virtual social. And then I'm doing a trial of a stretch waistcoat. So I've cut out a pattern of a waistcoat that I already own, so I traced it off, and I'm doing it in this fabric just to see how it goes, and if I'm happy, it's going to be going on in cable knit as well. So they're the things I'm up to. Obviously there's still a secret project for February that I'm working on. There's now a pogo knit which I need to think about, and of course next weekend will be different because I'm going away with Christine. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, I would recommend that, because you'll be able to see some sort of pictures as it happens, but I will film a vlog and tell you all about it. Christine and I, I'm sure, will have a chat and see if we've got any plans. We're thinking about if we do the Busy Bee challenge again, that sort of thing. So it's going to be a busy week next week, but I'm sure I will have goodies to show you, from going to the Guthrie and Garley shop. We're going to try and go to the rag market. I know it can be hit and miss, but I've got a few things in my head that I'm looking for. And we might go to Barry's. Don't forget to recommend places if you know any, and also if you're around and wanted to say hi, do let me know, because you know, I'm up for saying hi to people and making more sewing friends. It's always on my list. So I better knock off. Oh, shall I do a book for you? Yes, I shall. So book recommendation for you this week is a series of books that starts with one called Scythe. I'll put a picture in here. I'm partway through Thunderhead. The rest of my family have read the whole trilogy, and there's like a sort of a compilation set of stories as well. If you like sort of apocalyptic, like post-apocalyptic or alternate worlds, we're not talking Mad Max here, we're talking like alternate versions of our world in the future. It's a young adult book, so it's not too horrific. I think it's a young adult book, it might not be, but it's not too horrific. It's a really interesting take on what the near future could be like, and the characters are really well developed, and I've really enjoyed the writing style. So that's my recommendation for you, completely different from other books I've recommended you. And films, if you haven't seen, there is a film about Iris Apfel, picture in here. That was super interesting. She's a very interesting lady. I realise she's like 102 or something now, and I really enjoyed just watching that and seeing the very interesting life that she's led, and the way she thinks about things is incredibly inspiring. And when I'm thinking about talking to you about colour into your like wardrobe and things, watching her was very inspirational part of that. Well, I've realised for most of this I've looked at myself rather than the camera, so I'm sorry if you're someone that finds that irritating. It's been a bit of a week, and that's why I didn't have a Wednesday one. And thank you for your lovely comments, and I will be back soon, and I'm really looking forward to next week. I hope you've had a good weekend, and I hope the week coming is good to you too. Bye.